Each year, thousands of prisoners in China have their vital organs forcibly removed to be used for transplant, according to campaign groups. That's despite the Chinese government promising to end the practice of taking organs from executed prisoners 2 years ago. It's an issue that Miss World Canada, Anastasia Lin, has chosen to highlight in a new film called The Bleeding Edge. It gets its UK premiere on Tuesday. Let's have a look.
站住！
妈妈，我都想你了。
China will have the most sophisticated internet security technology in the world.
We have a deal.
James?
想要不签字活着出去的没有。
Anastasia joins us now in the studio. Great to see you, Anastasia. The film looks really interesting. I mean, the focus obviously is organ harvesting. Why is this so important to you?
10 years ago, I learned of the issue of organ harvesting in China. What we are talking about here is not actually killing the executed capital crime committed prisoners. We are talking about extrajudicial killing of prisoners of conscience, the people who the Chinese government consider to be subhuman, such as House Christian, Tibetan, Falun Gong practitioners, and Uyghurs.
You're saying that this is being done forcibly?
Yes, because in China, in our culture, there is no such culture as donating organ voluntarily. Chinese people believe that their body is given by heaven. We come in one piece, we go in one piece. So the voluntary organ donation in China is virtually non-existent, except for within the families. So Chinese government claimed back in 2006 that there are 10,000 organ transplants done in China every year. So without a virtually like an organ transplant donation system, every single organ transplant they perform is either the organ is either bought or forcibly removed from someone. And the executed prisoner in China is only 2,000 to 5,000 per year. So that gives us a 5,000 discrepancy there.
You say that China, refuses to acknowledge these allegations. Well, the director of the China Organ Transplantation Development Foundation responded to these allegations. Let's have a listen.
The majority of the right, just force of the international society always support us, stand side by side with us. That's the mainstream. However, we still have some, I don't want to mention the organization name. They have some personal political agendas, always malicious attack or distorted reports. So I don't worry about it, because I just mentioned, we just do our things and properly.
That was the response there from China. I mean, he says that it's malicious, it's political.
Well, U.S. Congress just passed a resolution on June 13th to condemn the forced organ harvesting in China. Israel has also banned organ tourism in China. There is a new updated report by 2 Canadian legal researchers and an American investigator on the recent number of organ transplants performed in each year. These researchers digged into each hospitals on their website, how many beds they have, how many surgeon team they have to determine how many organ transplants they perform each year. And the number is actually exponentially higher than what the official claims.
What numbers are you talking about?
We're talking about thousands in each hospital. And there are numerous hospitals like that. That's AAA grade hospital in China that perform these kind of surgery. This kind of human rights abuse, organ harvesting, was was first started with the Uyghur people in China. But at that time, that was more than a decade ago, the number was so much lower because they were only used for communist officials when they needed organ transplant. But right now, when you go to China, the hospital claim that you can get an organ, a vital organ, heart or liver, within 2 weeks. And they can schedule the surgery to be in the morning or the afternoon, which is unheard of in the West. In the West, you need to be on a wait list for years or months at least in order to get an organ. And that's as soon, yes.
So the question is, how are they doing this so quickly?
How are they locating a live donor so quickly that matches the patient's blood type and are able to take it right away on demand?
Anastasia, your film premieres on Tuesday. Thank you very much for coming into the studio.